Oh, my Lord, Thomas, what have you gotten me into on this Foreign Friday?
Well, four really competitive us Group Ones in Australia. I think they're very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly a little more interesting than what we covered last night.
Oh,
In,
yes. I
in
think there's
terms of,
more. I think there are more horses in one of those Australian races than all of the Santa Anita races combined.
yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
and but every single one of them are competitive. I mean, there's at least I in most races I was pulling out at least six contenders that I had to go through with a fine tooth comb, so to speak.
Yeah,
And
I think this is going to be wild because you got 17 horses field, 20 horse fields. I think the smallest one is 9 horse field, and then you have the Grand
the nine
National.
horse field is very competitive.
Yes, and then you got the Grand National, which is 40 horses going 4 miles, a little more than 4 miles,
No, four and a half,
and
four,
then
four,
jumping over how many different fences along the
30.
way?
30.
30 fences.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez, yes. So I think if there's ever been a handicapping angle that I know, it's 40 horses running 4.5 miles, jumping over 30 fences. It's that fourth fence. That's the key. The one who has the lead at the fourth fence call, that's the one that wins, Tom. And I just spoke that into the universe. So it'll be funny because the one that was first on the fourth fence will be the one that ends up winning.
Well, and for these races, you know how many race callers they have? They switch. They have three. They switch
Three.
because of the positioning on the track.
Plus, they probably get a dry mouth about the time they're about 1 mile into the race.
Well, I don't think it's quite that bad, but Pete Aiello said, bet the Irish horses. So it'd be interesting to watch him call a race like this.
Oh my Lord, that would be tiring for sure. So what crazy do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the Grand National, or do you want to just like ratchet it up in level of craziness and just end on a crescendo with the Grand National?
I think we should end with it. I think the Royal Randwick races are going to challenge us before we have to hit that 40 horse field.
All right, so let's start with the Royal Randwick. So we're starting in race number. Hold on.
6 is our race.
Race number 6. Yes, I just want to make sure I pull the right one up here. So race number 6 at Royal Randwick. It is the Australian Oaks. It's 2,400 meters. It's a Group 1, as you mentioned, for 3-year-old fillies. And if we look at Royal Randwick, this is what the track looks like. And 2,400 is going to start right here. And then they're going to run around this way, almost one full turn. Is that right, Tom? Or
Yeah.
are they going to go the other way?
All the way around and then come back home.
I would suspect they're going this way, though, right?
Yeah.
They're going backwards.
Yeah, they go clockwise in this race.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because it would be kind of weird to have a finish line that close to a turn.
I would hope so.
Yes, indeed. All right. So based upon this race, which is going to start, Tom, at 12:35 a.m. tonight Eastern. So it's between Friday and Saturday. It's not between Saturday and Sunday. So if you're up tonight at 12:35 Eastern or 9:35 out on the West Coast, when this race is going to start. I plan on staying up to cover a couple of these before I crash out tonight, Thomas.
Well, race 1 through 5 are pretty interesting too. So if you like the Australian racing, take a look at those races.
So how are we going to start this madness today, Tom?
Well, I've got one of the favorites. I'm taking number 2 as my top choice, Gypsy Goddess. She's 6 starts, 5 wins, and a third. She's never raced this distance, but that you could make a case for a lot of these horses in this field. She won 5 in a row and then tried Group 1, and she finished third. But she also did the best of trips. And with that trip, I think getting up for third was a pretty good race. She's won at 2,000 meters and more plus, so distance I don't think is an issue for her at all. And I think she can definitely rebound. But price is, I right now I see 4.5 to 1, so I would take that.
Yeah, 92 is a good number.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 3, Biscayne Bay is my next choice. 9 starts, has 2 wins, a second, and 2 thirds. Never run this distance. It likes the soft turf, but may not like the heavy turf. But we don't know until they run the race, until she gets out there, because she's never been on a heavy going.
Which we forgot to mention that it's a heavy. Not only is it a heavy 10.
Yeah, it's
swamp.
It's swamp.
Swamp racing, indeed. Like if they're running down in the Everglades, minus the boas and all the other stuff that people throw into the Everglades down there. But anyway.
This is her second up race. She ran an average race last time out. She's won as a 2-year-old with a second start. So why not? I think she should get the distance. That's not the issue. She looks like she's sitting on a good race. Price, not sure about. 9, Pink Ivory is my final choice. 5 starts, 2 wins, and a second. One on the heavy going 1,880 meters in a lower class level, and then faced Group 1 company, and really, again, another one. Got a wide draw. Didn't get the trip, to say the least. Lost by 6 lengths, but still got it for 5th. So I think there's a better race in her. And this field, I think if she can get the distance, she should be able to be right there. And we know she likes the heavy going, so that's not, to me, an issue.
Yeah, she's also likes the soft. So I kind of went through the pace setup, and then I focused a little bit after the pace setup, because looking at this race, it looks to me like there's only a little bit of speed in here, not a whole lot of speed, but you got a bunch of pressers in here too. But just the whole bulk of these want to sit in the back and try to charge at the end. So there's going to be a lot of traffic issues in here for sure. So I kind of wanted a horse that might be a little bit ahead of all that nonsense. And that is number 1, Hinged. It looks like it's about 4-1 right now. Gets the highest rating in the field. And Hinged is a horse that has run well on the what did I just do? I don't know what I just did, Thomas.
You hit the wrong button.
Yes, I did. Yes. Inexperience at this website. There, that's the right button. It's a horse that has run at the Group 1 level 5 times and hit the board in 4 of them. Has run at the track 3 times, but on the soft to heavy track, it's been on the soft to heavy track 7 times and finished in the money 100% of the time. So I like to see that, knowing that the track is going to be a little bit messy down there. My next selection is number 4, Honey Creeper. This one is 4-1 odds. This looks like they're all about like that. It has run well on the heavy surface as well. It's run in the group race last time out, I think, in 1, right? Yes. And it looks to me like it's a horse that's on the upswing. It also looks to me too like the longer the distance, the better this horse is going to be. So I don't feel like this distance is at all going to be an issue for this horse. My next up is number 10, Thomas, going a little bit of a long price here, 41-1 right now. Charity Spirit. This horse has been on a heavy track 3 times, been on a soft track 4 times, finishing the money 4 out of 7 there. He's running Group 3 company. Has done okay at the track with a second. And it's another horse to me that looks like it's on the way up the performance ladder, not on the way down. And another one that the longer the horse runs, the better it seems to do. And then I'm with you in agreement with the 9 horse Pink Ivory. That is my 4th choice. So hopefully that 41-1 wins, Thomas. That's what we're looking for, right?
We're always a price.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned that last night we talked a little bit about some other races over at Santa Anita, the Santa Anita Oaks, 5 horses, the Santa Anita Derby, and then one in the middle. So we did that last night with Chris Parmalou, our Chris Parmalou, who writes for us over at horseracingtoday.net. And he had a pretty interesting theory on the Santa Anita Derby with 3 Yankee horses in there, all of which I think used to be in the Bob Baffert barn, where he wants to use one to run off. What is it? Forbidden Kingdom. Yes, to run off Forbidden Kingdom and open up the door for Messier and Taba. So check that out. That was a pretty good show. A lot of fun last night. I felt like there was a lot of back and forth. So hopefully we got some good picks in there too. The next race we're going to try to get good picks into is race number 7 at Royal Randwick. It is let me pull it up. It is a 3,200 meter race. So this is another pretty long one there, Thomas. No?
Yeah, 2 miles.
3,200. So it looks like they're going to start here. They're going to come around the finish line once, go all the way around, and come back to the finish line a second time. So these horses better be fit, Thomas. And this one's going to start at 1:15 a.m. Eastern time. So at 1:18 a.m. Eastern, who's going to be the winner?
They'll still be running.
The 3-minute mile? I don't know. Well, maybe, yeah.
Well, yeah, it'd be over. Well, yeah, it definitely will be more than 2 minutes. So
Yes, I mean it's a long one. Well,
but
I mean, what can you run a mile in at your peak?
at my peak, we had to for lacrosse, we had to do 6-minute miles under.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had to do that too. I hated running long distances, and now that I'm older, it's the only way you can kind of burn any kind of get any kind of calorie burn. Because sprints, they don't do it for you as much anymore. All right, so which one is not going to sprint here, Tom? Which one's going to have the endurance to go 2 miles in much faster than you and I can run 2 miles?
Oh yeah, significantly faster. I'm going to take number 7. She's as my top choice. 15 starts, 4 wins, 3 seconds and 2/3. Has not started at this distance, but likes the soft and heavy going.
Mm-hmm.
Has 4 races in Australia. The best finishes was a 4th in a listed race. But in the last start, it had issues, and it moved up to 2nd, and then just didn't finish. But I'm thinking maybe it's coming to form, and I'm kind of going back to its races in France because it ran at 3,000 meters plus. It did win, and baby, I think this horse wants more distance.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly, if it come back to its France form, it should be on top in this bunch. Number 12, Tiger is my next choice. 24 starts. He has 5 wins, 6 seconds, and 2/3. And at the distance, has 1 start and finished 2nd. But let's just say this horse does not run short races. The last 10 races were over 2,400 meters or more. And
this is a short race then.
And the worst finish, this horse was 7th. And it did make some ground up in that race. So it likes those marathons.
Well, in this case, it's a sprint for this horse, right?
Yeah. I mean, he has 5 wins in the last 12 months. He's been in the money 12 out of 13 times. You can't beat that. And this is from levels of maiden to Group 2 races. So it started out at the bottom and so to speak, and has improved continuously. And I couldn't leave it off my ticket.
One thing I'll note there, running clockwise, it's run 11 times and it only has 1/3. So maybe he might want to petition them to run the other way.
Yeah. Well, that could be the case too. You never know with horses.
He just doesn't want to turn right. He's a lefty.
Definitely a lefty. Okay, then I'm going to take number 11. Surefire is my final choice. 7 starts, has 4 wins in 2 seconds. Has never started this distance, but the last 2 races have been on the heavy turf. And boy, yeah, it's done okay. It was an import from England that won and had a win and a 2nd there in 2 starts before it got purchased. It is a winner at Royal Ascot. So it's been in that rarefied top company type racing. A mid-pack type horse, which I like. I needed to get one of those that would sit mid-pack and then come on. I think there's a lot of upside on this horse, and I also think because it's lightly raced, this may be a nice place for it to hit the board at least.
I could see that happening. So I, again, look at this race, Tom, from a perspective of pace. There's, again, this one, you have a little bit more potential for speed because I have about 6 horses, maybe 7, maybe 8 of them that want to press the lead maybe. And I think you have to look at pressing a little bit differently in these races than we do here. Pressing, especially on a 2-mile race, would be in the mid-pack, not just chasing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I think you're going to have a little bit more tempo, perhaps, than we might have seen in the previous race. I'm going to start with number 4 horse here, Stockman, as my top choice. Looks like it's a little more than 5-1. The horse has run on the soft track 10 times. Been in the money in that 7 times, but on a heavy track time, it's run 7 times. So it seems the wetter, the better for Stockman because he's got 7 races on the heavy track. 4 of them ended up in the winner's circle, 2 of them pulling home a 2nd place. So 6 out of 7 in the money, either 1st or 2nd on the heavy track. I don't think the distance is going to be an issue for this horse too, because looking at its past performance is, again, this is another horse that it seems to me that the farther it runs, the better off it does. I'm in agreement with you on Surefire, except I don't have Surefire third. I have Surefire second. And then my next selection after that is number 8, No Compromise. So another horse that's done pretty well on the heavy track, soft track. So on the soft track, in the money 11 out of 12 times. On the heavy track, 4 out of 6 times. Has run at the track 5 times with a win and a couple of seconds. I do like to see that the horse has some experience over the course. And No Compromise is also a horse to me that, looking at its past performances, again, the farther this horse runs, the closer to the winner's circle it gets when the race is over. So I think the additional distance for Compromise is going to be a big plus. Then I'm going to close it out with number 3, Knight's Order. As I mentioned, this race does have an opportunity to have some early pace to it, but there are only a couple of horses, the 3 horse and the 6 horse, that like to get to the lead. And if this horse can get to the lead, he's got to win and a second at a Group 2 level. So it's really not that much of a step to go up to a Group 1. I do think he's probably going to be up near the front, and fractions will be everything. If he catches the right fractions, then maybe he can pull it off on maybe from the pilot or co-pilot spot. But I'm really expecting him to fade as they get to the wire, maybe finish 3rd, maybe finish 4th. So just to kind of clean up the exact, the trifecta type stuff. So as Tom says, close, in the money, win, maybe in the money, yeah.
If it can hold it together, I think it's got a chance.
Yeah, and that's going to be over 2 miles.
It just depends on that what kind of early pace it sets.
Mm-hmm. And I agree.
And again, likes the going, and it seems to like the going. So it's it was one of those I had to think about, but decided I'd rather put ones that are sort of mid pack, and then one at the end, which is Tiger.
Well, then this next race is the easiest one of the day, no?
Yeah, right.
just 9 horses?
Yeah, and only 9 horses, and you got the Melbourne Cup winner in here who's retiring after this race. So
yeah, this one is the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. It's 2,000 meters. So let's look at 2,000 meters. It's going to start a little bit right on the turn. So it's a big sweeping turn. So it's not like here where if you start right on the turn, it's probably a big disadvantage. I got to still think that if you're starting in a turn, it has to favor horses that get an inside draw. This one, Tom, is going to start at, let me switch papers here, 1:55 a.m. So be closing in on midnight here in Chicago. And I know you'll still be up doing your insomnia racing. Do you feel like the inside draw, when you start in the turn, the inside draws are a little bit of an edge, or do you think it don't matter?
Well, fortunately, I mean, the good thing is this is not a big field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we had, like the last race, 19 horses, those outside draws, I'd have to really think about.
It'd be a mess.
With a 9 horse field, it's a little better, but still that outside draw cannot be. You're gonna have to run a much longer race than 2,000 meters to have any chance in this race.
Unless you can get to the front, and it does look to me like there is a pace setter in here in the 2 horse Zaki, which is on the inside. So do you think maybe Zaki can use that pace and use that post position to its advantage, jump out in front of everybody and kind of
it has in the past. So and it's won. It's been it's got I put it for second because I do think it's got a good shot here. But I took the 3-year-old, the number 9, Anamar, as my top choice. Anamar she's got 15 starts, 7 wins, 5 seconds, and 2/3. At this distance, she's got a win and a second. Her last 10 races her worst finish was a 3rd in a Group 2 race.
That'll work.
That's making some money.
It's definitely making the owners happy. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, she won by 6.5 lengths in a Group 1 last out at Rose Hill, and she lost a plate or the shoe in that race. So that's pretty good. Heavy going, I think, is to her advantage, and she's done really her best work on the off going.
Yeah, never been out of the money on a soft or heavy.
Yeah. And she's a 3-year-old. She's facing older, but she gets a little weight from the older horses. And let's face it, this is a good spot for her to win. And of course, this is the Godolphin Australia side of the world, so they usually have a few good horses. I did take Zachy as my next choice. 32 starts, 11 wins, 4 seconds, and 6 thirds. Really good at distance in my mind. 8 starts, has 2 wins, a second, and 3 thirds. Yeah, this is like the top horse. She's done really well in her last 9 starts, and in the 10th start, she got DQ'd from first. So she's ran well had her off her layoff. It was first start. I thought she'd run better in that race, but she didn't. She did run second, and then won by a length and a half in the next race. So I mean, this is a good horse. She's tactical. She's got speed, and she's got experience. It's just a matter of whether she gets the trip. One of my ones that is really curious was the number 7 Duas. Has 18 starts, 7 wins, 4 seconds, and 1 third. At this distance, it has 4 starts and 3 wins. It's an 8-year-old. She's only raced 18 times.
Fresh.
And they've obviously handled this horse with kid gloves, because she is. There's a lot of race. I mean, that's a really good record for a horse that doesn't race much. And she's got 2 wins in a row. She can burst and catch the leaders and win by going away margins. And let's face it, for an 8-year-old, I would like to, based on the age, I'd like to be able to keep that kind of shape at 65. She's definitely going to be last in this race. And in coming in that off that turn, she's going to make her big sweeping move again, I think. And I wouldn't be surprised if she won, but I definitely think she's in the money.
Yeah, the only thing for me, I was considering that one is that Heavy hasn't. The horse has won a lot, but when it hasn't won, it's been on a heavy course, 0 for 3. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't pick it. I'm going to go with number 8. I mean, Very Elegant's going to be the favorite, right? What you think, Tom? But
I would be very surprised if it isn't.
I wouldn't be very surprised too if it isn't. But Montefiore just beat the 8 horse Very Elegant, so I'm going to give it a shot to do it again. Horses run pretty well on the heavy surface, four times out with 2 wins. It's also run great at the track and distance. It's been at the track and the distance twice with a win and a second. Does have 4 Group 1 wins, so there's absolutely no reason why 8 can't beat the 6 again. Very Elegant. I'm going to go at Very Elegant in the race as the place horse. Definitely a good, solid horse. Probably going to put in a good effort. A heavy track in the money 100% of the time with 3 wins and 2 seconds, but that's not surprising. That horse wins a lot anyway. I'm going to come home with number 9, your top choice, as my third pick. And then finally, I'm going to close it out with a long shot here, Thomas. Number 4, that is Mount Popa. And the reason I'm going to go with Mount Popa is because if you look at this horse on a heavy track, 5 times out on a heavy track, 2 wins, a second and a third. But more importantly, at the track, 2 races, 2 wins. And then at the distance, 6 out of 7 in the money. I'm going to get a horse that's performed well at the distance, the surface, the track, and conditions for 67 to 1, Tom. I'm going to take it. So on Monday, I'll be 67 to 1, Rich.
Well, maybe. I just question the level for her. This is an awful good bunch of horses.
Well, I agree. It's a huge step up, but that's why it's the 4th pick at 67 to 1, Tom. You figure a couple things break its way, it finishes 3rd. All of a sudden, that trifecta triples.
Yeah, you get a nice price.
Absolutely, 100% for sure. Another thing you might get a nice price on today with Terry, maybe, I don't know, maybe not, but over at at Golden Gate Fields today, Terry will have his best bet of the day, Golden Gate Fields here in the U.S., race number 7. He likes Premium Forest as his top pick, Offshore Affair, and Holy Ghost. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can catch Terry's best bet of the day over at horseracingtoday.net. And we were talking about Golden Gate yesterday about even though they have short fields, somehow there's usually good prices there.
Yeah, and consistently too. It's it's not like it'll happen once every week or whatever, every other week or whatever. But consistently, you get some nice payoffs, and if you can pick them, and you got to throw a few long shots in there, you could end up with some nice money.
There's usually a couple of cards. I mean, it is definitely like that. All right, so the next race and the last race we're going to do in Australia is race number 9. This is the Queen of the Turf. This is a 1,600-meter race. So let's go back to 1,600 meters. It's going to start in the chute back here, come down, come around, and then hit the stop sign there. Thomas, this one starts at 2:35 a.m., so I'll probably be in bed by then. Unless I'm winning at that point, then I might stay up just to see how I'm doing.
Well, if you get
I might go to sleep and see how I do in the morning too.
Well, if you get that 67 to 1 shot to come in the race before, I think you have to consider being up.
Yes, I'll have plenty of a bankroll to play with at that point, right?
Yeah. Oh, I would hope so. Yeah. I went with number 7. Promise of Success is my top choice. It's 14 starts, 4 wins, 4 seconds, and 2/3. It's 1 runs at the distance and did place. Last out went 1,500 meters, won by a head at Newcastle. Nice race. Didn't break well, sat back, went 5 wide on the turn, and still got up. And the comment line was one that stuck out to me because it said gutsy win. And I always like to see that. I think the extra distance helps this horse. 100 meters, it's not going to. And I also like the fact that one of the top jockeys in Australia, is reunited with this horse, and Hugh Bowman. And he's won on this horse before, and I think that's a nice move by them. Mm-hmm. Number 1, Colette, is my next choice. 24 starts, 8 wins, and 5 places. She's has 2 wins and 2 seconds from 9 starts at this distance. She likes the heavy going for sure. She's got 3 wins and 5 starts. Mm-hmm. She broke well last time. Sat 6. She had cover, got traffic, moved up, and then kind of flattened out a little because, frankly, Forbidden Love ran away. And that was really the way to describe it. So I think this is a little better spot for her. The race before was curious because she finished 8th, and she was vet checked, and to explain her performance, because this was very unusual for her, and they found nothing, but I just found it interesting that she really threw a clinker in and then came back, ran a better race. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she can win per se, but I definitely think you got to include her in your Quinella Exact or whatever you're going to play, and she definitely should be one of the favorites, if not the favorite.
Right now, it looks like she is the favorite. And I mean, a favorite at 4 to 1. I mean, if we got favorites at 4 to 1 over here, we would be thrilled to death.
Well, again, we got a big field too. So
yeah, well, what we got here? 18 horses, not bad.
Yeah. So I took number 2, Lighthouse, as my final choice. 18 starts, 8 wins, 5 seconds, and 1/3. At this distance, it's never placed, which is really curious. I tossed the last race because, there was an incident at the starting gate. It had to be checked before it could run, and it ran 8th, and I think it ran its race prior to the race being run. Mm-hmm. It has won the race before at 1,500 meters by 2, and really was the best horse in that race. He has 2 wins over the heavy going and is 1 for 1 on the soft going. So I'm putting in my exotics.
I'm starting off with Lighthouse, Thomas. And to me, it was a tough call between Lighthouse and Colette. The difference for me was that Colette has run at the track and distance 5 times and only managed to come home with 1 second in there. But I did upgrade the horse's performance because it does run well on the heavy, as does Lighthouse. Looking at the pace of this race, Tom, this one's going to be, there's plenty of early speed in this one. There's plenty of horses that want to pressure. There's plenty of horses that like to pressure and close. I do feel like you're probably going to see horses come from off the pace to win this one. And I do think that the one horse Colette and 2 Lighthouse have plenty of late energy to get the job done. They both have high win rates. I also have Promise to Success as your first choice. Is my fourth choice at 15-1 for a lot of the same reasons you like the horse. But I always got to have a price in here, Tom, whenever we're doing these things, right?
And they come in too, so there's a good reason to do it.
Well, I learned that from you. So the one I'm going to go with in here is I'm going to go with Anna Visto. Horses never run on a heavy track, so you got to kind of look at that soft track record and say, okay, if it gets just a little bit wetter, how's this horse going to do? And on that soft track, it's run 9 times, and it has 4 wins. It has 6 career wins overall. That suggests to me that this is a horse that's going to like the heavy surface. It is also one that should be forwardly placed. And if the horse can run well on the heavy surface, be forwardly placed, and catch the right fractions, I think it has a shot to upset here at 20-1, Tom.
You're definitely get a price.
Absolutely. That's what we're looking for when we run these deep races, Tom. One price is all it takes. With these 5 races that we're doing, I have a feeling if we can catch one of them with some nice prices in there, it could pay for the other 4.
I would be surprised if it did.
And the one for sure that could pay for the other 4, is the madness known as the Grand National at Aintree, which is the 6th race on the card tomorrow, Saturday. This one, the going is expected to be good to soft. So just to kind of recap, they run 4.5 miles. Did you say, Tom? They jump over 30 fences.
4 miles and 2.5 furlongs. So just under half. Yeah.
So here's what. So it looks to me like they start here, and they finish here. So 1 full time around the track. And I'm kind of interested about this.
No, they go around more than once.
They go around more than once. Oh, okay. So let's see how many. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I only count 12. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to go around. I don't know how they're going to go around, but however many times they go around, Thomas. The one thing that's
they're going to be running for a while. Let's put it this way.
The one thing that still kind of interests me looking at this is this turn down here. It's a 90-degree turn.
Yep.
Oh. So you better not be in a pack of horses at that 90-degree turn, or you're going to lose the race right then and there.
Well, that's, this is that, they've got some very famous jumps like Beecher's Corner, and this is one of those races where just about anything can happen, and I guess it will.
Well, you got to jump.
For jockey's sake and the horse's sake, I hope everybody runs. It's a safe race.
You got to
anything can happen in a 40-horse field.
Absolutely. Well, you got to jump. It looks to me like, and then subsequently a 90-degree turn. He's really putting the pressure on the horse. But anyway, it's either that or it's a 90-degree turn and then a jump, one way or the other. I'm not 100% sure which way they're running, but I feel like they're going this way. They didn't put any arrows on here. But anyhow. All right, Tom. So
they run clockwise.
They run clockwise?
Yeah.
So they're going to run then. They're going to go this way then around.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. So they're going to come around like that. All right. Well, then it's a 90-degree turn and then a jump. I was going to say jumping and then turning 90 degrees. Boy, that would be quite the task. All right. So now that we know which way they're running and jumping. That
would be the way I used to hit a golf ball.
Yeah.
Out and back.
All right. So you got 40 to pick from, Thomas. Go ahead. Fire away.
Oh, this is one that will tease you for forever as far as I'm concerned. And I took a number, I think it's, I have to make sure I got the right number because I did it a little ahead of time. Number 34.
All right. So let's see how far we got to go down to find number 34. Hold on. Number 34. There it is. Dais Abba. All right. 66-1. The devil horse.
Well, yeah, it should be part of the field. Well, it will be because 24.
Mm-hmm.
And, good season overall this way. Likes this kind of running, and the big negative is it's never really faced a large field, but you can make a case for a bunch of them in here for that.
Mm-hmm.
Number 29, Mighty Thunder is my next choice.
Would be nice if they put these things in order. There you go. Mighty Thunder, 28-1. Tom's getting close to the favorite now.
You can sort them for order too if you want.
Oh, can you?
He's definitely a marathon runner. Good last season. Last 2 starts, it did not finish, but it's had some issues. Definitely a big price, but definitely lots of unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
My next choice is Burrow Saint, and that horse is as I said, I got to look these back up.
Burrow Saint. Well, it's going to be lower than that. So you're going back up in odds now, Thomas.
Yeah, he's going to be 8.
Burrow Saint
number
is
8.
number 8.
Yeah, that's what I've got on my thing.
Here we go. Burrow Saint, number 8. Can I really sort these for?
Yeah,
it
won the Irish National.
There we go. Yes, you're right. I can sort them in order. There you go. Makes it much easier for me. I'm glad I learned something today, so I'm not scrambling around. Number 8.
We like watching you scramble around. Well, sometimes your picks come out, right?
Yeah, sometimes. That's why I picked them. I just scramble them up and pull one out, and there you go.
Yeah, well, Burrow Saint won the Irish National in 2019, ran 4th in this race last year. He generally goes well early and then runs out of gas. So I'm hoping this time a little more patient handling and jumps well. I think it'll have a chance, and that's probably one of the shortest price horses I picked.
Could be, yeah.
Gotta find this one. I'm sorry about this, but
that's all right, Tom.
Number 20.
18, 19, 20. 40-1.
And it's Kill Dysart.
Kill Dysart, yes.
100% sure.
Is he Irish?
This is one of those horses that's been going well for the last few years. It hasn't run in a while, but then it came back and ran at Newberry, and it was okay. Distance isn't an issue. Fitness, I think, is an issue, but I don't think they're going to put this horse out there if it doesn't have a chance. And I think this is one where you watch the English betting and see what goes on, because I think that'll give you some idea if the punters or the gamblers feel that this horse has a chance. But I'm going to, with all these horses, I'm going to make what they call an each way bet, which is win in place. And then hope a couple of them hit the place, because the prices will be good at place too.
And so here's my thinking behind. I'm not even worried about the horses themselves, because 4.5 miles or 4 miles and change, 30 fences.
Well, I have one more.
Oh, you have one more. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you have this one. You never know. Right, number 11, Fiddler on the Roof. Been running really well lately. It's gained experience with each of its trip. I think a good trip on this horse. I think it's easily going to finish in the top 5, and that's what I'm looking for on Fiddler on the Roof.
Okay, so
my numbers.
What's that?
And I fixed my numbers.
Yes, my logic is simple. 40 horses in the race, Tom, right?
Oh yeah.
So that means, just from a pure math standpoint, each horse has a 2.5% chance to win, notwithstanding its ability, right? And considering that you have a lot of horses in this field, a lot of jumps, 90-degree turns, all sorts of potential problems, I think every horse probably has about a 2.5% chance to win. So at a 2.5% chance to win, that means you need to have odds of 39-1 or higher in order to make what would be a smart bet, right? A well-calculated bet where you're playing the probabilities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 5 horses. I don't know that they're going to be 39-1, but I'm going to imagine the odds on these horses are going to move around a lot before they race tomorrow. And I'm going to focus on those horses that end up close to 39-1, maybe 39-1, maybe higher than 39-1, and hope one of them wins. Because if one of them wins, then I'll get paid, right? I will have I would have played the probabilities and made some smart moves there. So I'm going to start with number 9, Mount Ida. And these are all horses, too, that I looked at. It seems like, because I mentioned it's good to soft. So I'm looking at that good to soft racing. And I looked then at ones that ran about 3.5, 4 miles that had some long races. And at the end of those long races were within the same zip code of the winner. And number 9, Mount Ida at 33 to 1. Maybe the odds go higher at 33 to 1 is one of those horses that I think has a shot to see those odds go higher. Fiddler on the Roof, maybe not. It's 11 to 1, 14 to 1 right now, but with 40 horses in the field, you don't know which direction that's going to take. Number 12 is my next one, 2 for Gold. It is 40 to 1, so right now it qualifies at 39 to 1. Number 16, Good Boy Bobby, 22 to 1. Just needs its odds to rise a little bit. And then finally, your number 20 horse as well, Killed to Start. Those are the 5 horses that, if their odds move in the right direction, I'll play a unit on each one of them to win, hoping one of them crosses the finish line after 30 jumps first. And then you had mentioned that with the field, right? Yeah. You get the field. So the field starts at horse number 24, correct? So you get 17 horses out of the 40 horses. Math says that's a 40% chance that horse, one of those horses, just from a pure probability standpoint, a 40% chance that one of those horses is going to win. So if you have a 40% chance to win, you need odds of 3 to 2 or higher to make it a smart bet probability wise. So if the field is 3 to 2 or higher, I'm going to put a couple bucks on the field as well.
Okay. And there's one really good horse in there. It's got a good chance too.
So typically, I've never seen one of these, Tom, before. But what are the field's odds usually like?
For the odds, the lowest odds I've ever really seen, I think, was for Tiger Roll, and that was pretty low, relatively speaking.
But I mean, for the field part of the bet, not
the field. The biggest one I've ever seen, not in this race, but at Royal Ascot, was 17 to 1, and there was 2 Godolphin horses in there, and one of them won. So,
well, I mean, you have to, with 40 horses. I mean, and jumping and fences and all these sorts of things. I think you have to just play odds, not horses. Yeah. And to me, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I sat down, I did the math, I figured it out. Said, based upon the math, this is the way you bet this race, and I'm hoping that one of these ideas pans out. And if not, I'm not going to throw a whole lot at this race because you have no idea what's going to go on to it. So maybe I'll put $5 across the board on my 5 picks, and then maybe put $10 depending upon the odds on my on the field bet, and see what happens. And if one of them comes home, I'll come away with a profit.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I do on here is for the field is, besides what the odds are for the field, but I also watch the individual horses and see what they're doing overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's any horse where you see some big movement going down, then I'm pretty psyched to think there's got a good chance of this horse hitting the board. And if that's the case, then the field is a good bet. And so little guidelines use some of their numbers, and of course it's they've been betting on this since the last time it was run. So because you can buy, you can start, they put odds out for all this stuff right away, the bookies do. So it's an interesting race, that's to say the least.
I'm going to watch it. I think it's going to be fun as hell to watch, but be interesting to see.
Some of the earlier races are good too. Today's racing, a little chalky today, but the going's been to the liking of a lot of these horses. Some of them want it a little heavier. We may see a few horses get withdrawn because of the going, but because of the prestige and all the other stuff with this race, I think that I think one horse was scratched last year, I think, so they were down to only 39 horses.
Only 39, yeah. I think I also think you'll probably see some more scratches for Australia tonight with the heavy track as they get closer to race time.
Yes,
but they don't scratch the same way we do here. If we happen in these big fields at Australia, Tom, and in this 40-footer, this 4 mile 40 horse, 4 miles and 40 horses and 30 fences. If we happen to pull one of those off, you're going to get paid. If you do get paid, do us a favor. Please head on over to horseracingtoday.net, hit that HRT gear, and support us by picking up some HRT shirts, hats, bags if you want a nice bag to carry around all your winnings after you cash one of these Grand Nationals. And I think in a couple, so not yet, but maybe in a day or so, you're going to see a 15% sale on there. So just please head on over there. It's one way to support us. We appreciate that. And any final thoughts, Tom, about these big fields in Australia, big fields in the Grand National, heavy going, and fences, and just about every other obstacle you could think of going into tonight and tomorrow's racing?
Well, we certainly have the diversity, but we tend these races we don't have any sprints. Our shortest is a mile, so they're all going to be interesting and competitive for sure. And the biggest thing I can say is good luck. Hopefully you can find a winner in this bunch, because it's tough.
Oh, I agree. Like I said, if we cash one ticket, it's going to pay for the other four, unquestionably. All right, Tom, as always, my pleasure to join you this Saturday for Foreign Fridays. Any idea what we might consider next weekend? Are we going to do like a 60-horse field, a horse racing relay race?
Yeah, one of the races in France, it's a cross-country course. No, I haven't looked yet. I knew, this is the champion weekend at Royal Randwick, so that was a big one. But last weekend we could have covered Hong Kong too, because Golden 60 got back on the winning track. So let's face it, there's some great racing going on right now throughout the world, and we're approaching our Kentucky Derby, so that'll put us up on the forefront when it comes to that.
Of course, stay tuned. We cover all of that over at horseracingtoday.net. We'll cover it here on our Horse Racing Radar TV channel. If you like what you saw, kindly please hit us up with a subscribe and a like on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as YouTube. The more thumbs up, the more likes we get, the higher up the algorithms we go, the more people that eventually find us. And we appreciate you spending your time with us. As always, we hope that you have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to take the day off tomorrow. I need a little bit of a break. I'll be back on Monday with Terry to discuss our full card Turf Paradise picks as he returns from vacation, all suntanned and rested and hopefully full of winners. Until then, folks, we hope you have a fantastic weekend and that all of your picks, even when there's 40 horses jumping over to 30 fences, that somehow the one that you pick ends up in the
winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend.